think it's important for me at this moment in my career to tell stories that open up like a fan of questions and conversations for us to become a more compassionate society, a more empathic society, to understand that the lives we live, we cannot just concentrate on our everyday, like schedule. We just need to expand our vision of what's happening in our bigger reality.
Hello, Mia. Hello, William.
Hi, how are
Hello,
you?
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to talk to you both. Very excited because Grassland is going to be on the closing night of LALIFF, and a very important festival that we have for Latinos. So I'm going to start with you, Mia. And what attracted you to this character and to this movie?
Oh, so many things. First, the script was so beautifully written by our directors, Will Bermudez with us and Sam Friedman. And I just fell in love with the character. She's this incredible mom doing the best that she can for, to sustain her family. The controversy about, for a mom doing something illegal was a big draw for me within the script. Um, Racial imbalances as well in our legal system in the United States. It's a big part of our film. And also I have a big part of my life is prison work. I donate my time when I'm not filming, going into juvenile halls and level 4 prisons to hold meditation sits and tea ceremonies for the inmates. So it is a big, it was a big draw for me to do this movie, the impact that the film can have in terms of like starting to talk about and opening a conversation about the, over 40,000 people that are still incarcerated for marijuana charges in the United States, while the marijuana enterprise is over like $27 billion of revenues. So just to talk about those people that, their lives are at a pause in a way, in this liminal space in our judicial system. So yeah, it's such a sweet, beautiful film story that has so much depth in all the ramifications of the conversations that can stem from it.
It's so beautiful and have so much layers there. Like
Yeah,
is the marijuana, have the kids, handling the guns, and you know what I mean? It's like so many things,
you
like
know.
important things, important topics to start conversation. And so it's a very important movie. So William, what was like the main inspiration? Because this is your first script, your first movie, like
Mhm.
director debut, everything. So what was like the main inspiration for the script?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially Sam and I spoke a lot about our personal experience. I'd speak for Sam now in saying like his mom grew marijuana illegally when he was growing up, and so that was a big inspiration. Um, Obviously, there was no police officer involved, but it created a lot of conflict at the home, and I think it was really difficult because he wasn't able to have friends over. He had to kind of keep this secret, and I think that's tough on a kid, and it's hard to understand why you're having to do that. And I think when we started writing it, I empathized a lot with him as a kid. My dad worked in the film industry actually as an electrician on like crews in Boston, so he was out of the house a lot too, and I think I had a certain amount of resentment for him growing up. And then both of us going to college and starting to write features, I think we were seeing how so much of that sacrifice was for us as little kids. And I think really wanting to get at that transition from seeing, villainizing or sometimes, seeing your parents as a hero versus seeing them as a complex individual and a human being. And so hopefully the film allows viewers to see, both their parents as human beings and obviously the greater effects of people who are, incarcerated for marijuana as human beings, and forget all those labels and things.
Yeah. Mia, your character, Claudia, she's trying to protect the son, Leo, as much as she can. And then the relationship that you create with Javi, it's amazing. How was like work with him, and how did you guys bond together? Because it's so great. Because I think sometimes work with kids is difficult, but you guys have a bond there that I can see. Like watching the film, I was seeing that.
I think it was such a delight for all of us to work with Ravi and Sean. Like both our kids were just terrific actors, terrific human beings. Their moms are awesome. So we were like this big family working together. And we did shoot in Sam's parents' home. So it just felt very homey. It just felt like we were just this big family just doing this film together. And most of my scenes are with Ravi. Of course, we play mother and son, and we just had this really beautiful connection. And I have this immense admiration for him as an actor. He's an incredible actor to watch, and and I was just honored to be able to create with him, and also to be at this kind of adult level of, like co-acting together. So it was really easy. And I don't know if Ravi's coming. We're premiering at the LALIFF this Sunday at the Chinese theater, and I hope Ravi will be there because I cannot wait to give him a huge hug. I miss him dearly.
Yeah,
he will be.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think you guys bond, and Sean as well you see like both of them like doing everything they can to portray the characters correctly. You know what I mean? Like it's so good.
We're terrific, so prepared. It was just, we did not have any of, sometimes you hear about, kids actors being not super easy to be on set with. I personally have never had that experience before. Every child actor I've ever worked with has been an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, well, I know like William, I know that we have like, it's an independent movie made, like sometimes it's very challenging, it's very difficult to get a lot of stuff. But what was like the biggest challenge, like, and to bring this story to life?
Yeah, that's there's so many challenges, definitely. I think one big one, and one that we really tended to embrace instead of kind of go against, is just having to shoot in 18 days and figuring out how to shoot a 90-page script in 18 days, because you have to essentially do like 5 pages a day. And so that can be challenging with figuring out locations and having to, create scenes that might not have been there. So certain scenes, like for example, we were going to shoot in a police station, but we couldn't, have a location change that day. So we had to adapt the script to be shot in a police car, and how would that change the scene? And it ended up being a much more intimate scene than the one that we'd wrote at the police station. And I think, embracing that intimacy really changed the dynamics of the scene in a much better way. And I think sometimes embracing those restrictions can lead to a lot more creative solutions versus, going with the first thing you think of that's maybe a little bit more run-of-the-mill or, basic idea. So I think some of those restrictions actually helped it make the film a lot more creative and interesting.
Yeah, and Mia, we already talked about the story, the mom, Latinas, Latinos, the black, the white cup, the black person, which is sometimes they think everybody's the same, and you know what I mean, like it's kind of a super, like a lot of layers on the script, on the story. Why was it important for you to be part of projects like this as an actress and, like portray this type of characters?
Well, it is important because it's a big part of our reality, in this country. Even though I'm from Argentina, I've been I'm also a U.S. citizen, and I've been here living in LA for over 20 years now. When you find out that, you know, a person that's Black has 7 times the ratio of being incarcerated than a white person, and a Latin person is 4 more times, you know, likely to be incarcerated. Those are big numbers, you know, and that's like a very important part of our script, where even Sophia, who's, you know, Argentine, does not even realize that about her best friend. You know, she's not even aware that he may be at a much bigger risk, and she puts him at risk, and, you know, and she's responsible for him being incarcerated and going to jail. And if we think about, you know, someone like the character of Quincy, that person, you know, incarcerated in the late 2000s, may, you know, probably still incarcerated right now. And that's a person in their early 20s that have spent over, you know, 20, 30 years of their life in jail. So it's just, I think it's important for me at this moment in my career to tell stories that open up like a fan of questions and conversations, for us to become a more compassionate society, a more empathic society, to understand that the lives we live, we cannot just concentrate on our everyday, you know, like schedule. We just need to expand our vision of what's happening in our bigger reality, in order to become a better society, and just, you know, have the country and the planet and the ecosystems that we know were, you know, they're possible, that we could have. So it's this, I think it's this beautiful kind of dance between the macro and the micro, you know, like, and I think our movie does that. It's a very simple story. It's a family story, yet it opens up the possibility of like chatting about these things, and I think as a society is what we need to do.
Yeah, it's exactly. So with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. So I just wanna thank you so much for your time. Muchas gracias. Muito obrigada. I'm from Brazil, and then we can see this story as well in Argentina, in Brazil, and everywhere. And I love it. And congratulations. And I hope everybody liked the movie like I did. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Brasil. And mis vecinos brasileños.
Vecinos brasileños. En este momento somos super amigos, pero when it comes to football, to soccer, no.
I know. Now, like in 2.5 years, we won't be friends, but now we are.
Yes, I know. Besitos. Ciao.
Gracias.
Bye. If you like to support or continue to support Jana on Camera, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos.